Good morning, everyone. It's always fun when Chris throws in something else that we know. I am Amy Firestein, and I share leadership of today's service with Jim Handshaw, who will be sharing with us the next chapter on his journey as a UU at UCH. As we begin our service today, I want you to ponder, what does being a UU mean to you, and what do you, or who do you love the most? I often wonder what being UU means to me, and I'll be sharing some of that ponderings with you a little later in today's service. Whoever you are, wherever you live, whomever you love, whatever you do for a living, you are welcome at the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg. For those here in person during coffee hour, please get some coffee and a snack and venture into the priestly room to hear Roger Blanco, a guest of one of our attendees. Roger is a Cuban refugee who will talk about his experiences as he journeys to reunite with his family. Online or in person, we're glad you're here. For those who wish to join a coffee hour, please see the link that was sent which was sent to you with this morning's service links.
We light the chalice to the words of the Dalai Lama. Whether you believe in God or not does not matter so much. Whether you believe in Buddha or not does not matter so much. As a Buddhist, whether you believe in reincarnation or not does not matter so much. You must lead a good life. And a good life does not mean just good food, good clothes, good shelter. These are not sufficient. A good motivation is what is needed. Compassion without dogmatism, without complicated philosophy, just understanding that others are human brothers and sisters and respecting their rights and human dignity.
I'm My name is Karen Sykes, and I am standing in for Corey today while she's climbing the mountains in Europe. The story is called The Wonderful Things You Will Be by Emily Winfield Martin. When I look at you and you look at me, I wonder what wonderful things you will be. When you were too small to tell me hello, I knew you were someone I wanted to know. For all of your tininess couldn't disguise a heart so enormous and wild and wise. This is the first time there's ever been you, so I wonder what wonderful things you will do. Will you stand up for good by saving the day, or play a song only you know how to play? Will you tell a story that only you know? Will you learn what it means to help things grow? Will you learn how to fly to find the best view, or take care of things much smaller than you? I know you'll be kind and clever and bold, and the bigger your heart, the more it will hold. When nights are black and when days are gray, you'll be brave and bright, so no shadows can stay. Then you will discover all there is to see and become anybody that you want to be. And then I'll look at you, and you'll look at me, and I'll love you, whoever you've grown up to be. That's a good story. I love it.
So, as I said before, I'm Amy Firestein, and I want to tell you a little bit about my UU journey. I have been a UU since I was in the first grade. My parents came from very different religious backgrounds, and they wanted to find a religion, a community, that they both felt comfortable with. They found a UU church in Paramus, New Jersey. The church was actually about 40 minutes from our home, but it was only 5 minutes from my maternal grandparents and 15 minutes from my paternal grandparents. So Sundays weren't just about going to church, it was about community and family. My earliest memories of church were of learning Bible stories. I remember drawing a picture of one of the kids in my class lay on the ground, and we traced them, and then we painted the coat of many colors on it. And then the next week, we learned about Hindu stories. Going to church, we had to do, because my mom was the religious education director. But I also enjoyed going to church because I had really good friends that I looked forward to seeing every week. We were the babysitting crew. It was a different time when we didn't have to worry about clearances. And so once we finished our own version of coming of age, we were the paid crib room care providers. We all attended AYS together. For those of you who don't know, AYS was the early version of OWL. It just had very old slideshows. I think one of the most important things that I learned growing up UU is all of the diversity in personal beliefs there are, and that I was given the freedom to choose what I believe. That it's okay to have a different belief from others, as long as you respect the other person's beliefs. We can't judge someone or make assumptions about them just because of what they believe. I remember having a long conversation with one of my best friends from high school. She talked about her very Catholic beliefs, and I shared mine. We didn't judge each other. We didn't try to change the other person's beliefs. That discussion led to me spending a weekend with her church group. They had an in-church retreat, and it was very eye-opening. I learned a lot about myself that weekend. I learned a lot about some of my peers that I went to high school with. We didn't judge each other. We accepted each other for who we were and what we believed, and nobody tried to change the other person's beliefs. It gave me a chance to grow for myself and to learn about others who, in a high school setting, you see differently than you do when you're talking about beliefs. And it was a good thing. The only time I did not make time for continuing my own journey as a UU was when I was at college. When I moved to the DC area after college and got engaged, I found a local UU church. I wanted to make sure that if I had kids, they were raised knowing UU values. After my son was born and we moved to this area, I found UCH. I look out now and I know those online are part of our UCH community, and I love the diversity that we share. It makes us who we are, and it gives us the opportunity to learn from one another and find new ways to respect each other. So I encourage you to go learn something new from someone in this room.
Thank you, Amy. Let us open our hearts and minds now to a time of meditation and prayer, a time to give expression to our joys and sorrows. Life inevitably brings joys and sorrows, worries and triumphs. In community, we often find that the sorrows shared are eased, and joys shared are multiplied. What burdens of worry or sorrow weigh heavily on you this morning? What joys or gratitudes lift your heart? We invite you to share them now through writing them on a slip or typing them into the Zoom chat. Please indicate whether your message is okay to share out loud. You can also honor your joys and sorrows by placing a stone in the water of community. Please come up the middle aisle and return on the sides. Spoken or unspoken, our hearts join with yours in bearing and celebrating all that life brings. Amy, will you place one more stone in the water for those shared joys and sorrows that haven't been mentioned? Thank you. A joy today from Emily Raffensberger. Enriching drum circle this morning. Come join us next month. From Lori Rhodes. I'm so glad my friends Jenny, Roger, and Betty could come to visit Hershey and share their knowledge with so many people and visit this church. Jim and Nan Kavanaugh. Missing our granddaughters and Clara's 6th birthday party because we are staying home due to health issues. May we quietly pause to remember the joys and sorrows of those who have spoken, those they have named, holding them in silence in our hearts. Once again, thank you for allowing me the privilege of leading another summer service. I've quoted Carl Jung and Bertrand Russell in the past from this pulpit. Carl Jung, the first half of life is devoted to forming a healthy ego. The second half is going inward and letting it go. Bertrand Russell on growing old. Make your interests gradually wider and more impersonal until bit by bit the walls of the ego recede and your life becomes increasingly merged in the universal life. It is my chosen journey in my elder years to slowly merge into this universal life. My parents were blessed with long lives. If I am also blessed, it will be a slow, happy journey. If not, I've lived my 70. What more could I ask for? My first summer service in 2016, I explained my ego death experience. I didn't die, of course. I still use it. It's just a tool I use. But it's not who I am. I'll explain more later. Today, I'm sharing my life's journey trying to understand and feel love. And as you may know, I grew up in a local Christian church where I acquired a childhood mythical understanding that Jesus loves me. I still remember that feeling of spiritual love of a man born 2,000 years ago. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Jesus loves the little children, all the children in the world, red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in his sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. I felt that love. I loved them back. It was good for me. That's all I needed, especially with loving parents. I could get on with my life and feel that I am loved. So how could I, little Jimmy of all people, raised by that feeling of love of Jesus, end up an old man blessed to be a member of the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg? It's a long story. A quote from Mr. Rogers: "Discovering the truth about ourselves is a lifetime's work, but it's worth it." I'll start with 6-year-old Jimmy when a childhood friend asked him, "Who do you love the most?" I remember exactly where I was standing. We were having a good time playing in the dirt beside my garage when, out of the blue, with a condescending facial expression like this, he said, "Who do you love the most?" I answered, "My mother." "No," he said loudly, "God." I felt bad that I didn't know that. It's a beautiful, innocent answer from a feeling little boy. Since then, a lot of water has flowed under the bridge, over the bridge, especially in that question, who do I love the most? It took me the rest of the life to work that out. Let's continue in the life of little Jimmy as he discovers more about love. Keep in mind, we will read our covenant shortly. The first sentence is, "Love is the spirit of this church." So I'm around 10 years old. I'm 6th grade class, and my teacher invited us over to her house, which is right next door, and we're all standing and sitting in the living room when her college-age son comes down the stairs. All the girls in the class went, "Ah!" What's going on here? As I recall now, this is also when Elvis was singing, "I'm a hunk of burning love." That same year, I get a Valentine from a girl. And she was a friend of mine, and we played together. The front of the card said, "I don't like you." You open it up, it said, "I love you." A chill went up and down my spine. What is that? Remember that boys mature later than girls. I was still playing in the woods, climbing trees, digging holes, living my dreams. 8th grade. Whoa. Mimi, my wife. Whoa. You know, when you're in a room, just like we are right now, and everybody laughs, you often look around at other people and you share that joy together. Our eyes met at that moment. They stayed connected for several infinitely long nanoseconds. There was something there. That something continued for the rest of my life. So now I'm a senior in high school English class. I got to pass this course to get into college. I did well and all that, but I worried about all this stuff. I was very nervous, and it was extemporaneous speaking week. So I needed to talk on a random subject, and when it came to my turn, I reached in the basket and I pulled out a little slip of paper, opened it up, it says, "Love." So I stammered and came up with the boy meet girl type of thing that one would talk about in high school. I got through it, and as I was sitting down, the teacher sternly reminded me in front of the class that I said nothing about the love of God. I felt bad. So now I'm 21. Mimi and I are getting married because, of course, we love each other. Also because we wanted to live together, if you could imagine that, needing to get married. I felt really good about that love. It did include till death do us part. So now I'm in my 40s, at work, talking to a friend of mine about the concept of salvation. I innocently said, I never understood that concept. He kindly told me that if I can't accept that, I'm going to hell. So I told him that I had this memorized for most of my life. I'm going to read it to you now, the Abu bin Adam poem that I read in high school. Abu bin Adam, his tribe in Greece, awoke one night from a deep dream of peace and saw within the moonlight in his room, making it rich and like a lily in bloom, an angel writing in a book of gold. Exceeding peace had made bin Adam bold. And to the presence in the room he said, What writest thou? The vision raised its head. And with a look made of all sweet accord, he answered, The names of those who love the Lord. And as mine once said, Abu, Nay, not so, replied the angel. Abu spoke more low, but cheerily still, and said, I pray thee then, write me as one that loves his fellow men. The angel wrote and vanished. The next night it came again with a great awakening light, and showed the names of whom the love of God had blessed. And lo, Ben Adam's name led all the rest. That's fine, Jim, my friend replied, but you're still going to hell. A nice guy, right? And he said it in a kind way, because he cared about me. Yes, he was a nice guy. We flew together before and during and after that. We had a good time. But how could I say that to another person, that they are going to hell because of my beliefs? I live in a country where freedom of religion is an established amendment in our Constitution. Right? Well, people do that. And that's a far cry from little Jimmy's feeling of love from Jesus. During my summer service last year, I focused on Descartes' famous saying, I think, therefore I am. I never understood that. In the course of preparing for that sermon, I wondered innocently whether anyone thought of, I feel, therefore I am. Duh. I discovered Spinoza. Bingo. That made sense to me. It was an aha moment in an old man's life. Excuse me a minute. I acknowledge to myself that most of my thinking was given to me by my family and community I grew up in. My thinking is not my own. Even my name was given to me. This is now, for me, just a statement of fact, nothing personal, just what it is. Feeling, on the other hand, was and is my own from the moment I took my first breath. I suspect this is the same for all of us. There's nothing special about me. The difficulty for me was always expressing those feelings in the vocabulary of my acquired thinking. And as I look back over my lifetime, my feelings sometimes did not agree with my thinking. That's the definition of an existential crisis, right? I've had a few of them in my life. So my crisis meter was pegged trying to feel the Christian concept of salvation. I never felt it. I could think it, but it didn't make sense, and I felt bad about that. I don't anymore. My Christian friends pray for me because they care for me. I thank them. I care for them. I wish everyone well, the saved and the damned. I realize this may be some scary stuff for some of you. You may or may not feel the same. So how should I apply this to what I feel are the current political, economic, and religious dysfunctions I'm feeling in America right now? I'm glad you asked. The next sentence in our covenant is, and service is our gift. In my service now, I have to lose my old way of thinking. I have to respect all people, including my enemies. I have to love them, and they need to feel that love. That's a tough thing to do, as most of our dialogue on both sides of the aisle is delivered in such a condescending attitude, which means I'm better than you, you're stupid and unworthy. Like when I was asked, who do you love the most? A quote from Marshall McLuhan on the U.S. election debates in the 1960s. Nothing really changes. Whatever the sentiments they express are as nothing compared to the images they convey. Most people will vote on those images. McLuhan, of course, understood that the medium is the message. Condescending sentiments have become, in my opinion, the primary message from mainstream media today. Boy, does it sell advertising. I see it on the right, and I see it on the left. And most of my liberal friends get mad at me for saying that. It's easy to see condescending attitude from other people on the other side of the aisle. It's very difficult to recognize it from myself. I end with two quotes on the autonomy of mind and spirit. A quote from the author Ben Hunt. He says, "Our core freedom, our autonomy of mind and spirit is not granted to us by the state or the oligarchs. It is not theirs to give. It is not a reward for good behavior or an allocation from a central pot. It is, as Immanuel Kant says, our birthright. It has always been our birthright. It cannot be taken away, but we can give it away." A quote from Viktor Frankl, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Love is the answer. Won't you be my neighbor?"
I don't know about you, but I gladly want to be Jim's neighbor. It's this time where we, as a Unitarian Church, are a freely gathered church of free people. The church is created, sustained, and supported by us. Each month, we share half of our Sunday plate with a local nonprofit organization. For the month of July, we are sharing with the Beacon Clinic. The Beacon Clinic works collaboratively with public and private partners in the greater Harrisburg area to facilitate the development and provision of primary healthcare services which promote the wellness and wholeness of our uninsured neighbors. If you wish to contribute online, please visit UCHBG homepage for options. Your financial support and commitment matter. We hope that you will please consider giving what you are able. As you have given, we graciously receive.
We affirm our mission to encourage, equip, and empower, and we ask you to join in the affirmation of our covenant with one another. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. as you depart from this place, know that you carry with you the blessings of my love and the love of the people around you. Share this love with others by your smile and kindness toward everyone you see. Go in peace.